let's talk Jimmy Garoppolo, but not in relation to Trey Lance. So I think most Niner fans have given up on the idea, the hope that the Niners could ever trade Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think the Niners have given up on it. And I think they've quietly been confident that Cleveland's going to come around this whole time. I think that this is what this is all about. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to just cut him and let him go to Seattle, but I think they really think they're going to trade him to Cleveland because I think they think there's no way the NFL doesn't extend this Deshaun Watson suspension to a full season. The judge came out and made it 6 games, but she laid out all this evidence that was damning. And the NFL is pointing to it and saying, all these things are the things that we found, and we feel the right thing to do is extend the suspension. It feels like that's what the rest of the country wants. And it would be outrageous and probably controversial if that doesn't happen. And if and when it does, the Niners will be waiting for the Browns' desperate phone call. I think that's what they're banking on.
Yeah, I think that's the hope, right? But the problem with that is that these things can drag out. Like, okay, so if the league says we're going to suspend you for a year, they can go to court with it. And then really the suspension, whatever it is, whether it's 6 games, a year, whatever, doesn't even happen till next season. Like there's a possibility that Watson plays this whole year and is suspended next season.
That's crazy.
If this gets drug out. So I don't think, again, the Browns are the one team that if they get it figured out, certainly would still make a lot of sense. I just don't see it happening, man. I think he's going to get cut. But yeah, they are definitely holding out hope for something, and that's fine. I mean, at this point, you're not. It's whatever, you know.
John Lynch said something. He said, "I believe there's going to be a great ending for both sides with us and Jimmy, just the way there was with us and Debo." It's like, when you cut him,
what does that even mean?
Cuts, like, what are you talking about? So, and John isn't like a bullshit artist. Like when John and Kyle say something on the record, to me, it feels like they think they're telling the truth. So where is this confidence coming from? You really think the NFL is going to bail you out with this Watson thing and Cleveland's going to call? Well, I can't rule it out. It's a possibility, but I'd be surprised if even if, okay, let's say Deshaun Watson gets suspended for the year and there isn't an appeal of that and he actually can't play. If you were Cleveland, would you trade for 1 year Jimmy Garoppolo and pay him $27 million, or would you sign Colin Kaepernick or sign Cam Newton or roll with Jacoby Brissett? What would you do?
I would sign Jimmy. Now, if this was 3 months ago, I'd probably look into a cap. I think Cam shot. Maybe I would have looked into somebody else, but for me, Jimmy Garoppolo knows that offense. Like, he's the one guy that can come in day one and run that offense because he's played in it, essentially. He's played in a more extended version of it under Shanahan. So he's the one guy that, as a head coach who's probably on the hot seat if they don't get to the playoffs this year. If that's the case, then guess what? Jimmy Garoppolo's your guy. So I would probably be calling for Jimmy.
This is a good point, though. If he appeals and is suspended next year, let me just look at the base salary.
Oh, it's significant. We're talking about a difference of $30-40 million. Probably.
Yeah. So real quick, his base salary this year is $1 million. Mm-hmm. If he gets suspended this year, I think this was by design. He doesn't lose that much money. Next year, his base salary is $46 million.
Yeah, that's a great point. No, that's a great point.
So he may not want to. And honestly, if the NFL suspends him for a full year, even though he was never charged with a crime, would there be a lot of people being like, "This is outrageous. Deshaun Watson's a victim"? Some would, but I don't think a lot of people would.
No,
I wouldn't.
No.
What did the NFL say? Predatory behavior? That came out of Roger Goodell's mouth, right? 4 instances, predatory behavior. How you let him? How? And that's the same as PEDs? I don't think so. 4 instances.
I feel like there was some people that were in the Watson corner, after he wasn't convicted. And I feel like even that group has started to sway towards I can't defend him anymore. Right?
I mean, obviously, criminal courts, you need evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no way you're going to get that, but this is different. This is more like preponderance of the evidence.
Right.
And based on that, I mean, that's why he had to settle. That's why he's looking at a suspension. When you look at the preponderance of the evidence, it looks really bad. And all he has to say is, I didn't do it. There's no like counter evidence or counter. I didn't do it. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's one word versus the other. There's no physical evidence. I mean, that,
So, I mean, I understand why he didn't get charged with a crime, but I also understand why he settled a bunch of 30 and is probably going to get suspended for the full year. I get it. And I think the Niners probably correctly duped this out. But I still don't know if Cleveland will give him that phone call. I still don't know if they will. We'll see. Good. Maybe.
I would. I would. And you know what I think of Jimmy, right? But I'm certainly making that call. He's certainly an upgrade over what they've got. He's a guy that can step in day one. They are the one team that can afford the full amount and still carry over money next year.
Yeah,
I would definitely make that call.
I mean, I think that's what John and Kyle think, and I can see it. Because, like, look, if you just roll with Brissett for a whole year, I mean, you be honest, you're not making the playoffs. Be honest. No. And you should, because you're a good team with hella players in their prime and a lot of like, you can't afford to just throw away a year. You got to make something happen this year, even without Watson. So, yeah, you probably should trade Jimmy. That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, Kyle and John could actually come out of here looking smart. Maybe. There's still a possibility where they come out of this looking like, hey, you know what? We were patient. You guys weren't. We got something. What do you think they get if Cleveland
that's it? Okay, I'm glad you asked that, because that's the other problem. They gave up a lot to go get Watson. They don't have the assets. I mean, we're probably talking about something similar to the Baker trade. Maybe a fifth that could escalate to a fourth next year. Like, that's
a player. Kareem
Hunt.
Hunt.
Like Kareem Hunt?
Yeah.
If I'm the 49ers, I'm not taking Kareem Hunt. I'm not paying Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt has had his own issues in the past. Let's be clear about that. 2, he was going to want a lot of money. And 3, that means that's another running back that you like that you're having to cut. I'm not taking Kareem Hunt. I'm not taking a single player unless I think it's somebody that can help me and is not a lot of money. So,
but here's the other way to look at it. Would you rather have a 6th-round pick or Kareem Hunt?
6th-round pick.
Ha! Fair. Kareem?
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
I'm dead ass.
Yeah, you're a running back. Law Office of Grant and Jessie, says Jonathan Chavez.
I like it.
I got compared to Johnny Cochran earlier, so that's high praise. High praise.
Yeah,
thank you.
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. I get it. Look, can I say this real quick too? Coach doesn't like me very much. He's got it out for me. Ever since I said that I didn't think that Trent Williams should have been signed, and they, who's a great player again, I still stand by that.
So maybe he doesn't like me either. Actually, what I learned to Coach, his comments come across much more antagonistic than he really is. He's like me. He does it all with a smile. He's a nice guy, and he is a nice guy.
No. Yeah. By the way, a disagreement doesn't mean that we can't.
He disagrees with us a lot of the time, and he brings the heat. He brings the high hard stuff in the comment section, which I appreciate. It's the big leagues.
I mean, listen, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. You don't have to like me. I'm just calling a spade a spade. I don't think he likes me, and that's okay.
You're my cup of tea, Jesse.
Thank you, Grant. I'll always be Grant's cup of tea. That's good. That's important to me.
Yeah. What's up with Frank Gore? I've covered football for 12 years. Let's just wait. I'm not condoning. He was accused of something. Dude, athletes get accused every day. Let's just wait. Sure. Let's just wait. I have no idea what happened. I haven't looked at the facts. More information will come out, and we'll talk about it at that time. But, I mean, dudes get accused every day. I want to know a little bit more before I say something that I can't take back.
Yeah, right? I'll say this. I'll say something, but I'm not going to go too far. If it is what they said it is, that's extremely disappointing, to say the least. But yes, I'm going to hold back my judgment.
I'll say one more thing too. A lot of people said, throughout the years that covered Gore, man of high character, yada yada yada. Great. You don't know, okay? Journalists don't know athletes. They don't invite you over. You're not friends with them. You know like 5% of them. And so with Gore, no one knows. We'll find out. I don't want to hear people say, "Oh, I know Gore." You don't know Gore. What I know is that my dad told me this. Notoriously the most liked, praised, helpful, friendly athlete of the 70s, O.J. Simpson. OJ. So, niceness, like whatever you think in your 5-minute one-on-one interview, you don't know. That was a business interaction. So I'm just saying, like, we'll see. But I've seen a lot of times where you'd be like, oh, not that guy. Or something happens, of course he would do it, but he didn't. You know what I mean? Like with Reuben Foster, he got in trouble. Oh, yeah, he didn't do it. So,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you have these, you think you know these people, you don't know any of them. So, just, yeah, let's.
I mean, it's usually the guys that you're like so shocked about. Those are also the best con artists, right? Like they know how to put on
exactly
a show and
exactly the most charming.
up. So yep.
Psychos often are charming. Not that I'm calling anyone a psycho, but I'm just saying.
Yep.
I watched Dexter. The Meg says, "Can you talk about tight end 2 and 3, please? Who is good?" So far, it's clearly Dwelly and Croft. Those are 2 and 3, however you want it. Those guys get reps with the ones, look good in one-on-ones. They beat Hufanga in one-on-ones. Eventually, Warner will come back, and they like him because he's a good blocker, and they're run first team. Like Dwelly isn't a good blocker. He tries. Because that's the best thing you can say about him is he gives the darndest effort. And I don't know about Croft. This is a team that could keep 4 tight ends because it's a team that's going to run a lot. They're going to have heavy goal line packages. It could be 4, but those are the guys. Tanner Hudson, I don't think he's one of the guys.
I feel bad for Matthews because I feel like he had a real shot at making the team. I really do because I don't think any of these tight ends are anything to write home about other than Kittle. And I think Matthews had an outside shot at actually making it. So
yeah, I don't know if Matthews can actually block anyone, but Jordan Reed couldn't block anyone. The Niners gave him all kind of snaps. So yeah, right. At least Matthews had some juice at that position. Like Dwelly, I like Dwelly, but I mean, he's the slowest tight end in the NFL, maybe. And then you got Croft, who's like not much faster. So it's too bad that the Niners haven't ever invested in the tight end position ever, because if they had like a second tight end, they could take a little off of George Kittle's plate because he's a great player. He just gets hurt. And now you're telling me he's 28. You need to reduce the workload so he can continue to be great. But no, this year he needs no. I mean, he's the only guy who's dominated. He needs 150 target. So nothing against Dwelly though.
Yeah. It's again, I think Dwelly in another offense could probably flourish. I just don't think this is the offense for him, unfortunately.
That's why the Niners keep him, man. They have these players. We don't know what to do with them, but if we cut him, we know someone else will. So we're going to hold on to him and never give him the ball. But
right.
I like watching the one-on-ones. That's how he got my eye a few years ago. He always wins. Like, he's so slow, but he's huge. And he has this little wiggle at the top of his route. He pushes off just a little bit, and he catches passes way outside his frame. And he's like, how do you stop that? It's like trying to stop Kareem's skyhook. It's just hard to contest that.
You don't have to be fast to get open. You do not have. I mean, Anquan Bolden made a career out of getting open and not being fast. As long as you are strong at the catch point, and there are little tricks that you can use.
You got a little finesse and shake, and he's got it. He gives this little. I mean, Tart couldn't cover him. Hufanga can't cover him. No one can cover him. You'd think they'd throw to him in the red zone, but Kyle has just so many genius plays that it's like he can't get there. But eventually, they might.
By the way, those are the guys that age well, the ones that were never uber athletic. Like, as things start to fade for them, it's all the same. They're like, I've always been slow. What do you mean?
All I'm saying is I do quality control now for everyone because no one pays me. And 49ers, if you cut Ross, Tampa signed Ross Dwelly, and watch what Tom Brady does with him in the red zone. Watch. That's all I'm saying. Tampa,
they got what's his name? Rudolph? Is that it from Minnesota?
They still have OJ Howard?
I feel like OJ Howard went somewhere else.
Yeah. Would you consider hosting a fantasy football? No. I should.
He doesn't do
fantasy football because it takes a lot of time and then I lose. So it's like time I didn't want to spend and then I lose. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're the expert, huh? Huh?" I'm like, it's gambling. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. No, I hate it. I can't stand it. I'll do something though. Like, that's a good idea, but I want to do some giveaways and stuff. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do.
You got merch to give away, man. What are we talking about?